There are two major forces in this reality: love and fear. And so beautiful that polarity gave us two things on both ends, love and fear. Just perfect for this reality, a reality that is based on dualism. The major forces that are creating this reality, our individual reality, are fear and love. And they are individuals. Things that I am afraid of are not the things that you are afraid of. Things that I love might not be the things that you love. And they are the forces that puts together this reality. They are the attraction or the rejection of the energies that we are calling upon. Love is attraction. Fear is rejection. And these two do meet each other. Just like yin and yang, there's a point where love and fear are intertwined, are becoming one. But that's a point of consciousness. That's a point that the consciousness will get to eventually, and it does actually, again and again. The understanding and the feeling that both can be the same, that are actually the same. It seems too far for the mind to understand most of the time that love and fear are two equal forces, maybe even two sides of the same coin. And they are based on body, mind and soul connected together, especially the mind and the body, the feelings, cold and warm. What we don't understand causes fear. And fear creates a cycle that determines the reality that I'm living in. It brings doubts, it creates misunderstandings, mostly between me and people around me, reflections of myself, reflections to this reality. I see it again and again. How when I'm afraid, when I'm in a point where I'm not loving myself, where I'm not sure about myself, it's always about me. When there's something in me that is insecure about a certain topic, about a certain experience that I have, that I had, or that I have, or about what's coming up in the future, what the projections that the mind is seeing in the future. And I'm creating from that point a misunderstanding that is unfolding in my experience with other people, with nature. It just builds, it's like ripples that comes out of me and build the experience around me. The reality is shifting according to that. The reality is being put by the energies that I'm experiencing, that I'm calling forth. And when I'm in a place of doubt, insecurity, misunderstanding, general fear, I'm creating that cold environment around me. I'm creating a cycle that is there to confirm what I'm experiencing. Lack of love, fear. And in the past, it was close to impossible to detect that, to realize that that's how I'm creating my reality. coming into the truth of who I am, into trusting myself, and into a general understanding. Yeah, the mind is also starting more and more to understand how experience in this reality is unfolding. Coming more and more to that, I can see how the ripples are becoming bigger and bigger through my experience, if it's through fear or if it's through love. When I'm in a place of insecurity, doubt, general fear, the unknowing, I project that immediately. And I literally look to confirm that in the subconscious. If I'm in a conversation with a person, I feel it more and more with my partner, of course, with Kali. And we are sensing each other so strongly. And when both of us come into a conversation, just to a conversation, with doubts, with suspicion, with fear, even when we do something in that conversation or say something, not from a place of I'm owning that. I want to do that. Sometimes we do things like in the last conversation we had, we share something with each other just because we know the other one really wants to know about that. Meaning we don't share from a place of I really want to share right now about this, but we share from I'm sharing it because the other one is expecting it, or I know that he would be happy, or I know that he would not be happy if I'm not going to share it right now. And that alone is a place of me not owning myself or owning the story that I want to share. Probably I'm not understanding it fully still. How often do we have a fresh experience that we don't fully understand? We might even think we understood everything, but then down the line, it might be the next hour, the next day, or 1 year from that point, suddenly we grasp the bigger picture. So sharing from that point of fully not comprehending what I just experienced, or maybe just not being at the place of I really want to share it, this is really where I'm passionate at, I'm doing it for you, the communication is already not full. I almost wanted to say broken, but it's more that it's just not full, it's not clear, it's not completely clear. It's not a pure synchronized communication. There are other things intertwined. My misunderstandings, my fears, even my subconscious projecting the fact that I'm just doing something for the other person, that I'm not really there, present. Maybe I'm too tired. Maybe I want to take another moment and get into myself with that and stay with that experience rather than just sharing it. And then the other person on the other side of the line senses it immediately. And that causes already in that person, because Kali and I are so strongly connected with each other, it causes in the other person again the same things that I am projecting. Fear, mistrust, misunderstanding. And then there's a loop. It's just a cycle. It's being fed back to me, the misunderstanding from Kali, and I'm sinking more into it and projecting it back on her, and down the rabbit hole we go. And it used to be so hard detecting it. It used to lead to arguments, sometimes fights. I'm speaking about way down the line. Nowadays we are much more ready to detect something like that when it's happening. Sometimes it takes us longer than that conversation. Sometimes we really need to settle back in, each with his own experience, with his own understanding, his own heart. And then we can come again to each other and speak about it from a different point of view. Sometimes it even takes several conversations to get down to that issue. But the last conversation that I had with Kali just now, it didn't take us longer than that conversation, and that was so awesome. We get to the point where we are mature enough to say what we feel, and we know that the truth will set us free. So just saying right there to the person, I'm sensing something. I don't know what it is. I'm not pointing fingers saying it comes from you, but I'm sensing something that is off. It's probably also me. And it takes a lot of confidence and love to say to the other person, listen, I don't want to hang up the phone right now, even though it feels that something is off. We have a miscommunication, but I don't want to go to sleep like that, or I don't want to put us now off in between us for so many hours or whatever. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes we say, yeah, I need the time for myself to get that understanding. But in the last conversation, we were able to do it right there at that moment, to speak to each other, see that there's something off, not wanting to put that off to a different time and space, but saying, no, I really want to, and I believe that we can do it right now, right here and right now, that we can see what it is that is off, that we can transcend that. And we did. And of course we saw how it's their own fears and their own projections, how when we come from a place of not owning exactly my presence right now, not being completely present, doing something not from passion, but more for the other person, how this alone leads to a vicious circle, to more fear and more doubt and more misunderstanding. So fear is a great, great creator. And we are doing it so often. So often. And it's so easy to fall down that rabbit hole and not understanding what's going on. Hey, how did we get here suddenly, you know? That's really a crucial point just to stop for a second and to view this from the side, to step out of myself and to look at myself and at that situation and to say, wait, hold on. How did I just get here? How did we just get here? We started a very nice conversation, or I really was excited in speaking to you, or I loved the fact that you called me, or it's so good seeing you, or I didn't want to get there, but now we're here. How did we get here? Let's stop for a second. And not putting fingers, blaming the other guy, saying, oh, it's your fault, you brought this, or you caused this in me. No. What kind of a creator says that? You caused this in me. You started it. It's all starting with me. I am the cause of everything in my reality. So it's about owning that, stopping for a moment and owning that responsibility. And there's a great gift in that responsibility, because what could be better than that? I'm responsible for my creatorship, for my reality. I am responsible. It means I can fix it right here and right now. Whatever it is that causes me discomfortability, I can handle it right now. I can shift it and change it and go back to being happy or finding joy right now. I'm not depending on the other person. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to apologize. He doesn't have to change his ways. He doesn't have to go away. This is rejection. No, it's about me. I own it. It's my responsibility. I created it. Probably with the help of the other guy, because that's the thing, right? That's relationships. And that's why they are so damn hard to understand. It's how we get into a situation, even to an uncomfortable situation, and both of us are choosing it. Both of us are being fed by it. And I know in the community of the enlightened people, they don't like to hear about energy feeding, but we do it all the time, even out of love, mostly out of fear. Because the energy feeding is just about the self. I'm feeding my own reality in some kind of an energy. I'm calling forth energy to create this reality right now. It would not stand, it would not hold if I would not do it. I wouldn't exist. This reality wouldn't exist. So I need to keep on feeding that energy, keep on calling for that energy. I need to create a mechanism, a certain exchange, a plus minus, because we are living in a duality. I need to create that plus minus where I am calling for that energy to stream in and to create this physical existence, this physical reality, this plasma, the feelings, all that is involving around it. I am calling it forth. And there is a feed, there is a suction, there is something that is happening, there is a mechanism, a flow that I am creating, that I am actively in on a subconscious level. So the energy feeding is there, it's always there. I'm feeding myself, that's the thing. I'm not feeding off of the next person nowadays. This is not happening anymore. But I'm feeding myself. And in a new relationships, that's exactly what's happening. It's still a give and take, or it's still two people or more coming together with an understanding and a contract on a subconscious level that we are creating a certain experience together. But the feeding stays personal. We are not feeding off of drama, we are not feeding off of things that are more an exchange of energy. I'm taking from you and I'm giving you. This is staying now very individual. The feeding is individual and personal, but I am still co-creating it with a different person. I create a situation where I am calling upon the energies to come and feed me through that experience. And if it's not going to be a person, then it's going to be with something breaking down in a house if I'm creating it from fear. My car giving me problems, a socket suddenly doesn't working, a light bulb goes off, maybe even with nature, a bug that is stinging me, a fly that is annoying me. I will create it either way. And I'm not feeding off of the next person or somebody else's. I'm keeping it to myself, but it's still the energy feeding. I'm feeding myself energy. Because this reality is sustaining on that. The reality would not hold if I'm not going to feed it. So the two forces that I will feed it with are minus or plus, fear or love. And most of the time both of them need to happen so it keeps neutral. There is a point where both are coming together to a neutral state of being. More about that to come.